Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with The Sopranos. Last time around we had 46 long, where Tony... I was going to say Tony's having troubles, but I guess that doesn't really narrow it down, does it? Tony's having troubles with his mother. Again, that doesn't fully narrow it down, but they tried just having someone at the house to help her. That didn't work. So eventually Tony forced her into a retirement community. And the therapist speculates that Tony may have some hatred for his mother, which Tony did not like the sound of that, so he stormed out and then took it out on the big guy. I don't remember his name, but the guy that can't do the phone. Meanwhile, Chris had been causing some trouble, jacking trucks of juniors, and he had to pay reparations, but he was pissed, but he wasn't going to hit another truck, but his buddy hit another truck, so there's problems there. And that was pretty much the long and short of it. The 46 long and 46 short of it. Yeah, honestly, that was that. I'm exhausted right now. I don't know why, but it's the end of the day. I'm tired, and we got a big old episode of The Sopranos to go through, so expect me to have somewhat low energy. But it's not like there's a ton of moments of hype. At least there haven't been in the last two episodes. Maybe there will be here. I don't know, but there aren't like a ton of moments of giant hype in this show, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. So, with this very low energy intro out of the way, why don't we jump right into this episode of The Sopranos? Here we go.
Those fucking junkie fucks, they work for Tony. They hijack Conley's truck, I get it back, and oh man, Conley's thanking Tony?
Well, I think you should have taken care of this Christopher Maltasante thing the minute it first happened. You should have sent a clear-cut signal to it. You fuck with Junior Soprano.
Take it easy. We're not making a Western here.
Nah.
Mr. Soprano?
How you doing?
Yeah, she switched over to Soprano instead of Soprano. He's way more dressed up today.
Trick picture out there? That is a special-made psychological picture. Like that what do you call it, test? The Korshak.
You think I want to trick you? What does that picture say to you?
It says, hey, asshole, we're from Harvard, and what do you think of this spooky, depressing barn and this rotted-out tree we put here?
It's depressing and scary to you?
Not to me.
Okay, so we're hitting the ground running today.
The Jew with the black clothes and the curls and everything.
They're called Hasidim.
I see them, but I don't believe them.
What's he want, this Titleman?
He wants a divorce for his daughter.
What are you talking about?
Titleman's son-in-law will not give Titleman's daughter the consent unless Titleman gives him 50% of his motel.
Called a get. They call it a get.
Why don't he just,
I love the coziness. Welcome to the neighborhood. Well, the school district, anyway. Calm, you did not have to do this.
Oh, did they?
I mean, we don't see each other like we used to, and
I want that to change.
Did they move into Livia's house, or?
This Biardi Bucco.
Hey, Capitán.
Hey, Artie.
Mr. Title.
My pleasure.
Please, have a seat.
Thank you.
Well, they're not just Jews, they're Orthodox Jews.
All right, 25%. He wants 50, we get 25.
I don't understand.
That's because I'm not talking to you.
Meh.
Du hast beschafft der Keulung hier. Punkt für den Rav in der Meister. Ist auch was Atem, deine miese Stück. So wird euch dessen Leben gehängt.
Give me what I want, Mr. Soprano, and you have a deal.
Damn.
It's done.
He's willing to use the golem.
So I sweated blood into this place, and he owes me. And I intend to get what's mine. So please, don't embarrass yourself any further. Just leave.
I'm not embarrassed. You embarrassed?
Listen to me, you weirdo fuck.
Yeah, these guys aren't detectives to solve the case.
And you forget this 50% shit. You got nothing coming to you. Nothing.
fuck that. This is how I say nothing.
How's that for nothing?
You know what?
Well, that might be effective.
Matt, I'm serious, you guys.
Matt, if we can't score some crystal, we're dead. Okay, so with this budget,
crystal?
we can do 3 waiters for the...
Una! There is fingerprints all over the break front. I want this place to sparkle.
I want a cop.
Here you go.
What do you mean, cop?
Score. We want to score some crystal.
Yeah, you got money?
Shut up, you ain't giving them shit.
Why not?
How about for starters, your father will put a bullet in my head?
Yeah, hello?
Fine. Just thought I'd ask you before we went down to Jefferson Avenue.
Those Moulignans will rob you, rape you, and leave you on the side of the road.
I don't know what you see in him.
Money! What do you think?
Fuck you.
He's trying to protect you. I mean, he's trying to protect himself from Tony, but still.
Look at these flowers. Nobody sends flower arrangements like New York.
Let me just check his...
What's happening?
This damn IV. Damn.
Oh, this is Tony. Tony's being nice.
She's a friend of mine from the club. Nice girl. I joined them later on. We got a little booze, you know.
That was nice of you to have a party for your friend.
Yes.
This man has had chemo every day for 3 fucking weeks. And he still has every last hair on his head. Every last hair on his head, and he's got a beautiful head of hair. So don't tell me about how it sounds, because you don't know him, and you don't know me, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Boy, this turned.
So why don't you tell me what's really going on?
The tree and the painting, write it out, you said? There's nothing in that picture to indicate that.
The fucking painting. I knew that was a fucking scam. I knew that painting was a fucking scam.
You remember your dream? The ducks?
The ducks.
It took on another meaning.
How did this happen?
What happens to a tree that's rotted out?
Trees, ducks, what the fuck are you, Ranger Rick? I'll tell you, some job you shrink, Scott. You think everybody's lying to you while you're pulling scams on them. Fuck you!
There he goes again. How did that happen?
Charmaine! Sure. Charmaine!
That's why they highlighted that so specifically.
Shut up, please! Not the car run! Shut up! Shut up! Get in there!
Oh! And there he goes. And he's in. I love the side adventures of Polly and the other guy. I wish I knew his name.
Sometimes I lay in bed. Stop the Z. Stop the Z. Okay, enough already. Why don't you forget about the past? Look to the future, okay? I am sick of hearing about your fucking restaurant. Shut up about it, you depressing fucking jerk!
The fuck do you know about it?
Oh, that'll go well.
You motherfucker.
Oh no. Oh. Don't you do dumbasses. You're gonna have a food fight.
Fucking jerk. Come on. Look at that.
I like that got goofy, but meanwhile,
She wants to go to Israel, I send her. She needs something done to her body, I pay. I feed her, I clothe, I put a roof over her head, I spend a fortune. On top of that, I worked for her father for 20 years and put up with his abuse. I should walk away without a nickel?
Tough fucking luck, ain't it, pal?
yeah, again, they're not there to like solve a case. Sorry, Silvio, I can remember that name. Oh. Another painting. An empty chair.
What's that painting mean to you?
Nothing. It just reminds me of David Hockey.
Tony's psyching himself out.
You really would let me kill you, wouldn't you, you sick fuck?
You ever heard of the Masada? For 2 years, 900 Jews held their own against 15,000 Roman soldiers. They chose death before enslavement. And the Romans, where are they now?
You're looking at him, asshole.
Yeah. The Romans dissolved and became the Italians.
Yeah.
Maybe he's willing to go to the world to come, but if he's stuck here on this earth, I know one thing that no man wants to go through life without.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh.
That's a fucking brilliant idea.
Oh, no.
Act like a moil, huh? Finish his bris.
Yeah. Paulie, get the bolt cutters from out of the trunk.
Oh, no.
Ariel, we're going to plan B.
Oh,
It's been
no.
raining all morning. You were down at the show with your parents that summer? You and Tony were on the outs? He called me.
He did?
One thing led to another. We started dating each other, and... Camilla, I slept with them.
You slept with Tony?
Really, it wasn't for me. Camilla, what I'm trying to say is stop worrying about me. Really. I mean, we both made our choices. I'm fine with mine.
That's the example you brought up? She will remember that.
You want to give your son-in-law 15% of the motel? You go ahead. It comes out of your end. Now, we got you your get. You get us our 25%. Got it?
My son was right.
Yeah?
You mud. Godless clown. I created a living golem.
What the fuck is a golem?
Meh.
It's a monster, Frankenstein.
Get the fuck out of here.
Living dead.
Or I take that asshole son of yours and shove him up your ass.
It's good yak.
Shut up.
All that work.
We're wailing on this guy. I'm threatening to cut his dick off.
Should call the nurse.
He's mumbling and rocking back and forth and praying. I'm trying to get his pants off.
I think they should take my temperature again.
Yeah, call him.
Maybe Christopher could use a little talking to. You know. The other one?
You got a lot of sense for an old gal.
No. I'm a babbling idiot. That's why my son put me in a nursing home.
He didn't even care I was there. It's just him and that fucking cancer. I'm not afraid of death. Not if it's for something. You know, a war, something like that. A reason. But Jackie, to see this strong, beautiful man just wither away to nothing. You can't do nothing about it.
Nope.
And if all this shit's for nothing, why do I gotta think about it?
Nah.
That's the mystery, isn't it? The mystery of God, or whatever you want to call it. Of why we're given the questionable gift of knowing that we're gonna die.
Nah.
Do you feel like Frankenstein? A thing? Lacking humanity? Lacking human feelings?
Which one, the doctor or the monster? Even though one of them's a monster and one of them's the monster.
I was trying to save her. Listen to me, you speak English. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot.
Oh. That was the talking to.
Hi, Jack. Bye, Jack.
Yeah, that one was real. Oh, with the piece too. His freaking glasses are so huge. He looks like freaking Carl from Up. I was slightly worried that something was going to happen. I guess something did happen, technically, to, the one guy. God, why don't I remember names? Oh, well. We're only 3 episodes in, it happens. You know, with every passing episode, I am more and more convinced this is a slice of life, you know? It's just a slice of Tony's life. Oh, but today's topic is death, apparently, I guess. Honestly, yeah, with everything going on. The painting, the rotted tree. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm like trying to formulate thoughts, because I don't know. It's man, I feel like every time I get to the discussion now, I'm just like, okay, how do I talk about these episodes, you know? Because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, you know? And I don't know. There's some things where, like, I feel like on a surface level, I'm like, well, do these connect? And it's like, well, but yeah. It's like, if you got to go in further, and they do connect. But, of course, again, you know, for those of you out there who have seen The Sopranos probably multiple times, you probably studied the friggin' thing. If I miss something, or if I say something stupid, I hope you will forgive that, because I'm sitting here, you know, watching this for the very first time and immediately trying to form thoughts about this episode, you know? Now, this episode, too. Denial, anger, acceptance. That is pretty much what Tony went through, you know? Denial, you know, about Jackie. Denial about, you know, death. The anger, you know, like that scene where he just went off almost out of nowhere, you know, almost out of nowhere on the doctor, and then just the acceptance that Jackie is going to die, and it's frankly not a good death, you know. And it's an interesting thing, you know, kind of seeing, you know, what is the fear of death, you know? The fear of death, if anything, isn't even the fear of being dead, you know? It's not the fear of being dead, it's the fear of how you die, you know? That's really more of what that is. So, when someone says, like, oh, I'm not afraid of death, it's like, well, like, you know, are you afraid to just, you know, you're walking down the street and you just pop, there you go, you know? You're just, you know, you just switch off like a light and you're just gone, and that's that. Are you afraid of that? Well, maybe not really. Are you afraid of being kidnapped, tortured, raped, mutilated to where there's no body left, really? And you're just tossed into a river? You probably. And that's the thing. It's like, that's pretty much what Tony's saying is like, you know, he says he doesn't have a fear of death as long as it's for something, you know? Like, if it's in a war, or if it's in, you know... Like, for him, if he was dealing with something and he was shot, you know, during a conflict, you know, a mobster conflict, that probably doesn't faze him, you know? And he's looking at that like, if, you know, it's almost like basically the warrior's death, you know? In fact, as sort of a reference, this is just because I'm also watching Vinland Saga at the same time as this, they mentioned something in Vinland Saga with the troops of Askled, where the English go to them and say, hey, you know, like, basically, I'm not going to give you the whole context of the scene, but basically they're like, hey, pick up your weapon when we kill you. You know, it's like, we're going to kill you. We're going to defeat you in this battle, but pick up your weapons and fight back. Otherwise, you're not going to go to Valhalla, you know? And in a sense, that's kind of what Tony's thinking is like, you know, it's that sort of like Viking death that, you know, like, oh, you will be carried off because, you have accomplished so many great things and you died in such a spectacular way. The Valkyries will come down and take your soul into Valhalla. It's not really happening with Jackie, is it? Like, in Tony's mind, cancer does not call the Valkyries, Cancer does not call the Valkyries, I mean, it's the same thing we see in, like, Breaking Bad, with Walter White, where it's like, Walter White could have not done anything, not done everything he did in Breaking Bad, but he did, not only just because, maybe subconsciously it is that sort of warrior's death, or, he died doing something with his life, but also the whole, if he's going to die, he's going to do something for his family. At least that's what he says, And there's a whole can of worms to go to open up with Walter White that we're not going to go into right here. But it is that sort of thing, It's like, it's almost like subconsciously in the mind of humans. It's like, that's kind of the, like, almost this, like, primal instinct that many humans have, That is like, well, if I'm going to die, I at least need to go out with a bang, It's the old saying of, this is how the world ends, not with a bang, but with a whisper, Nobody wants to go out with a whisper. They want to go out with a bang, They want the heroics. They want the Valkyries to recognize them and take them to Valhalla, where they will be in paradise forever, And Jackie, that's kind of difficult. That's kind of difficult. Now, whether or not Jackie thinks of that is another question, but that's what Tony's thinking, And that is sort of another thing about death, I mean, there's also a saying, a person truly dies when they are forgotten, So if you leave this legacy, if you leave this memory, which is why, that's another thing of, like, another human instinct of everybody wants to be somebody, Everybody wants to be somebody. And, even if you have Jackie, who, according to Tony, accomplished great things in his life, did so many great things, he was this beautiful, strong man. But is that what people are now going to remember? Because with this death, is that what people will remember about Jackie? Or are they going to remember that poor man who was barely himself at the end, Which is also something that is brought up in Breaking Bad, And the reason I'm making so many Breaking Bad comparisons is obviously the comparison of the two characters with cancer, Jackie and Walter White. But that was also something with Walter when he brought up a story about his own father, and he said, that's how his father died, was that sort of sad, withering away, basically, and Walter did not want his own son to remember him that way. And that's not what's going to, I don't think that's really a spoiler to say that ain't how it would be, But now, Tony's thinking, once Jackie finally dies, is that all he's going to think about when he thinks of Jackie, I don't know, man. I don't know. So see, it just takes me a minute. I'm like an old machine when you start it up, like an old car. Like, you gotta turn it on and you kind of gotta give it a sec, and then it will start going. That's me at the end of every episode. I'm just like, okay, hang on. Okay, now I can get my thoughts going. Like I gotta get the gears in my head turning before I can make a decent conversation. So, and that's the thing too. That's the thing too, where it's like with the with Ariel, he was looking at that like, well, I don't like. He's looking at that as like, no matter what death he dies, he dies that death. If it's, but even still, you could say that he was dying for something, but it's that, if he dies, then he dies, and he is, for him, he is welcomed into the kingdom of God or something, And for Tony, he's looking around and he's like, well, I don't have that. Jackie doesn't have that, and Jackie, I don't know, man. I don't know. So it's an interesting thing. It's definitely an interesting thing, you know. And you know, for the other stuff in this episode, it's interesting seeing like, you know, it's interesting seeing them deal with that. I do like I don't even know if they're B plots. They're almost like C plots of Paulie and Silvio just doing things. Like, I don't know why, that's just kind of entertaining. But I like how it's like, you know, they're threatening to kill this guy, and he's just like, oh, if you're going to do it, then do it, you know. And it's just like, this guy's not, you can't take a threat, you know. And then eventually it's like, oh, well, keep him, you know, if he's prepared to leave this earth, keep him here, but make him miserable. and the thing that makes him miserable is cutting off his penis. So, I do like that was the solution they came up with, you know? And then Meadow gonna get Chris in trouble. Chris is already in trouble. Chris literally shat himself in front of 2 Russians. It's not good. But Meadow, now they said that Meadow's not the one taking the speed. Hunter is. I'm gonna doubt until that's like confirmed. Like, I don't want to just take that take her at her word that she's not doing the speed, but I don't know. I was kind of glad because there were like I felt like there were a couple plot lines that were present in the first episode that were not present in the second episode, and I was like, well, okay, you know, they don't all need to be here, but I was like, well, that's interesting, they weren't really there. But now we're bringing some stuff back in this episode, and stuff like the mother, like Livia, only in one scene, really, you know? Only in one scene, which you could say the title, Denial, Anger, Acceptance, also applies to Livia with her situation, that now she's sitting in that, you know, retirement home, and, you know, now she's accepted, you know, it's like, oh, I'm a babbling idiot, which is why my son put me here, you know? So, it's interesting. I like, though, that, I do find it interesting that June goes to Livia specifically for some advice, you know? And it's interesting because, you know, she said, like, you know, she loves Christopher like a son in the same way that Tony does, but a little talking to wouldn't hurt him, you know? So that was an interesting thing. As for the other guy, he's just dead. Which, to be fair, he was the one causing... He was kind of trouble, but at the same time... Oof, that's rough. So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, another good episode on top of Carmela doing, which again, it's like that seems to almost be like the most minor point of the episode now. But I don't know how much I'm gonna talk about that, but just the whole, you know, because it's interesting that they specifically highlighted, they showed a specific shot of her doing that to the servant, and then. But then it's like, oh, because it comes back with Meanie, that was her name, right? I think, where she does the same thing, you know, treats her that way. So, and I like the little food fight between Tony and Artie. I thought that was funny because that was kind of escalating, but then just it did that, and I was like, well, he's not gonna like beat him up, is he? He's like, oh, they start laughing at how ridiculous they're being, and then they have a little food fight. So that was funny. And Tony's got a new side piece. Good freaking grief, man. And Jackie had a side piece for a second, I guess. Tony got him a girl. So, which for a second I was like, is Tony just oblivious to what's happening? And then as it kept going, I was like, oh, no, wait, Tony did this specifically. Okay. I see what we're doing here. He's trying to cheer him up, but then that next meeting, he was not cheerful at all. He wasn't even listening to him, you know? Okay. I guess that's that. I don't know how much else. Like, I've pretty much ran out all my fumes on, like, my brain started going and my mouth started going on that discussion, and now I've just kind of wound down, so it's time to park the car until next episode. So, but what did you guys think? What did you think of this episode? I don't know, but I'm curious to see where we are going next time. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Sopranos reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.